Hello, Amherst County Public School families. I'm Rob Arnold, Superintendent of Schools, and I am coming to you today to discuss the 2021-2022 school year recommendations. I've made these recommendations at our May 13th meeting, which was last Thursday. And I want to take you through those recommendations along with some information that you might need as you are making decisions for next year, and also to give you some resources to provide us some feedback as well. So let's start with the general operation. So as we know, the mitigation strategies that we've had in effect this year have been very successful. We have not had one student pass COVID-19 to another student or adult to another student in our building all year. So we feel really good about what we've done. But that being said, with vaccinations rolling out and numbers dropping to actually right now below where they were in June. And so things are going really well as far as that's concerned. And so mitigation strategies, governor's orders, CDC recommendations are changing very rapidly. And so as a matter of fact, the governor just updated on Friday his Executive Order 72, and then he informed us of Executive Order 79, which will come out, it'll be in effect at the end of this month. So let's talk a little bit about what we're going to, what we're going to do in the upcoming year based on what we know right now. So what I told the board the other night was that as restrictions are relaxed by the governor, by the CDC, as they're relaxed, we will relax them. And so these mitigation strategies are subject to change, but where we stand right now is this. And so in the upcoming year, we will look to socially distance our students 3 feet. We will visually screen students for symptoms of COVID. We will continue to promote hygiene practices. Face coverings are still required in the governor's executive order for the remainder of this school year. We don't know where it's going to land come fall, but at this point, that is what's in the executive order, and that's not been changed for schools. As a matter of fact, there was in this last executive order, he specifically stated that students, staff, visitors for the remainder of the school year will be required to wear face coverings. So we'll keep you up to date on that, but I just wanted to let you know that's where we stand right now. We'll continue to have extra cleaning and sanitation be provided. We'll have to continue to contact trace if people have come down with COVID-19, we'll have to contact, trace, and quarantine. That is, unless you're vaccinated. And then we will continue as much as possible to cohort students, which means we'll keep groups of students together as much as we can. That's a lot easier in elementary school than it is secondary school. As far as transportation is concerned, we'll be able to allow 2 students per seat based on our governor's order and presidential order. Face coverings will be required in transportation. And we will continue to clean and sanitize between our bus routes. As far as school meals are concerned, we will at this point continue to, in an effort to cohort our students and to keep students in a 3-foot distance, they'll continue to eat in classrooms, and we'll reevaluate this for sure. And as with everything on this page, this one seems to be the one that changes most often. And so, as always, I will always come back to you and give you some feedback or updates on where that goes. As far as staffing is concerned, we received CARES Act funding to help with some of these mitigation strategies. And so we added staff last year, and the staffing will be continued. That allowed us to help with the mitigation strategy. So for example, we hired more custodial staff. We added a nurse to help with contact tracing, counselors, instructional assistants, full-time substitute teachers, because quarantining, there was a greater need for substitute teachers this past year. And then we'll need to hire some remote learning administrator, clerical workers for our virtual Virginia. So that staffing is taken care of. It's outside our normal budget, and it's taken care of by CARES Act funding. So in terms of starting times, when in April I laid out what my recommendation for starting times were, I was asked to get some feedback in terms of research, what our neighbors are doing. And so on the right side of the screen, I want to talk a little bit about our neighbors first. Appomattox and Nelson County are both small enough that they can do one bus run. So elementary, secondary students are all on the same bus run. So they start at the exact same time. In Campbell County and Lynchburg City, their secondary students start first. One's at 8:05, and Lynchburg City is actually at 7:30. And in Bedford County, their secondary students go after the elementary, and that's at 8:55. As I received feedback, some of the things that came up in the feedback was scheduling conflicts, extracurricular activities. How does that push out if students are secondary students go to 4 o'clock? How does that push your extracurricular activities out? Concerns about childcare. And so what I explained to the board is that their expectation of me is to make recommendations based on what is best for students while they're in school. And most of the feedback I received was about what happens outside of school. Not saying that that's not reason for us to do it one way or another. I'm just saying, based on what my expectation is as the superintendent of schools, is to do what's best for kids while they're in school. And the research shows that students that are in secondary school perform better the later they start school, and elementary tend to perform better when they start earlier in the year. And so what I did was recommend that elementary students start at 8 and be done at 3, and secondary starts at 9 and they're done at 4 o'clock. And so what we want to do, because our board has heard from a lot of different directions what the wishes of the community are, what we are going to do, and it will accompany this video is a survey. And this is the feedback portion that we want. So at the June meeting, they can make a final decision on what start times are going to occur for our schools. So it is really important for you to fill out that survey to let us know how our community feels about this. And so look for that attached to this video, and please fill it out as soon as possible. You'll have this month and up until June 10th to respond to that. As far as scheduling, like our master schedule is concerned, elementary will look like, and the way I told our board was it'll look like 2019. It will be all 5 days. There'll be no hybrid. School for elementary students will look very similar. In secondary school, the recommendation that has come out of the high school and middle schools is that we continue with our block scheduling, but alter that in a different way. So what the block scheduling was this year was called 4x4 block scheduling. And that meant that students would take 4 courses each semester. And so that would be 8 full courses that the students would take. What we are going to do this year is called AB block scheduling. And so that means that all 8 courses are taken all year long. And 4 of them will be taken on Monday, the next 4 on Tuesday, and there'll be a rotation like that throughout the whole year. And that allows for us to deal with some of the issues we had with AP testing, our dual enrollment courses, or CTE, our internships. It allows for a year long. So like these AP tests and the SOL tests that are at the end of the year, our students will have classes all year long up until those tests. And we feel like that's going to be more friendly for our students. It will allow them to be more successful. And so those are what we're looking at doing for our master schedule. And I want to talk about the delivery option. So obviously for our secondary and elementary students in person, the school board is required by law now that they shall offer in-person learning to anybody that wants to take advantage of in-person learning for the minimum number of required instructional hours. And what the minimum number is 180 days or 990 clock hours. And so what that means to you is it's 5 days a week, all day long. And so that is required by law, and that's what our school board has committed to, and that's what we're going to do. Now, virtual learning, on the other hand, is the Senate Bill 1303 uses the term may, and so that means that is a decision that the school board is to make, and they do believe, as do I, that there are some students that may still need a virtual option, but under the belief that for that smaller group of students, we shouldn't be using our internal resources by dividing our staff and those kinds of things. And so what we are going to do is to utilize Virtual Virginia. Virtual Virginia is going to be available for all students kindergarten through 12th grade. There is an application criteria-based enrollment. And so that application was actually sent to you on Friday. If you did not get it or can't find it, go to our webpage. You can see that enrollment there. The tuition for Virtual Virginia will be paid for by the school system. And so the school system will also use CARES Act funding to pay for the tuition for Virtual Virginia. The Virtual Virginia, though, will not be an a la carte enrollment. So, for example, you can't take government and physics on Virtual Virginia and then come back to the school and take math and social studies, for example. So if you're in Virtual Virginia, you're in Virtual Virginia. You'll take the courses that are in Virtual Virginia. Now, if you're enrolled in Virtual Virginia, you're still an Amherst County Public School student, and that makes you a bona fide student. And so the students that are in Virtual Virginia will be available to participate in Virginia High School League requirements, extracurricular activities, and you still have to adhere to whatever those requirements are for participation in Virginia High School League. So the key elements to this is make sure you look at the application if you're interested. It's going to be based on a semester enrollment. So if you enroll first semester, you have the option of coming back for second semester, and that stands for kindergarten through 12th grade. And also at the end of this, we'll talk about the time frame for enrolling in Virtual Virginia. So here's the timeline. You see in April, I presented to the school board the original kind of the draft plan. During April and part of May, I put out information in this format on a podcast, on our website. We have all this information that's out there. We formalized our plan, and on May 13th, last Thursday, we submitted that to the board. Now we're seeking community feedback, and like I said, this survey will be available to you. We ask that you complete that so we have information, so the board has information to make final decisions. Also during this month, up until June 11th, those that intend to take the option of Virtual Virginia, you're to enroll. And so that information was sent Friday in a link, but it's also on our website. So if you intend to take the virtual option, you need to do so by June the 11th, because as Virtual Virginia is going to be provided across the state, there's going to be deadlines. And so we want to make sure that if you want to be in Virtual Virginia, that you'll be able to be in Virtual Virginia. And then on June 10th, we will finalize all this plan, and we'll move towards fall with a specific plan in place. The board does value and seek your input, so please fill that out. If you have any questions, reach out to your schools. You can reach out here. We want to make sure, just like last year, you're aware of what we're intending to do, and try to give you enough time to plan and prepare. And so, once again, I want to thank everybody for taking your time to watch this and listen and consider your options. And that will be it for today. I appreciate everybody joining, and have a great day.